In today's battle, we feature the Web Warriors versus the Spider Foes. Today's objectives will feature portals overrun city with spider people, 4 inhibitor portals placed, and spider infected invade Manhattan, 5 infected civilians. Web Warriors featuring Lethal Protector, Uneasy Ally, All Webbed Up, Mission Objective, and Field Dressing. And Spider Foes featuring 1-2 Punch, Well-Laid Plans, Trip Up, Mission Objective, and Tactical Analysis. The field is set, and priority goes to the Web Warriors. First up is Spider-Man, who will move with his first action and claim the civilian token with his second action. Green Goblin will be first up for the Spider Foes. His first activation will be to move, and his second activation will be to claim the civilian token. Next will be the Ghost Spider. Her first activation will be a move. Her second activation will also be a move, putting her in range for the portal activation next turn. Following that, Baron Zemo will activate for the Spider Foes, moving and collecting the civilian token. Then we have Spider-Man Miles Morales with a move activation and then attempting to activate the portal. Rolling 2 successes for activating the portal. The portal is now with the Web Warriors. Next activation is Winter Soldier. We also have our first error of the game. We should have used a short move to represent his climb, but I don't think it would have made too much difference. He moves and activates the portal. With 3 successes, he successfully activates the portal, capturing it for the Spider Foes. Next up is Iron Man. He's going to move and then move again. Next we have Dr. Octopus, who will spend his first activation to move and his second activation to move as well. Then we have the Web Warrior Venom, and his first activation will be for a move. His second activation will also be for a move. Now the Spider Foes Venom will move. And with his second activation, he will move again. And at the end of round 1, we enter round 2, with Spider Foes having a score of 3 and Web Warriors having a score of 2. Spider-Man is pushed small because of the infected civilian token he's carrying at the beginning of the next turn. After grabbing the civilian token, Dr. Octopus unleashes a strike against Venom, rolling 4 dice for a physical attack. 2 successes. Venom will now roll 4 physical defense, rolling 1 critical, rolling again, succeeding twice, meaning no damage goes through. Next up will be Ghost Spider, who will activate the portal and attempt to claim it. We did this rule wrong, I know that, but this is how we did it for this game. With 3 successes, she will claim it. Her second activation will be to attack Venom using the spider technique. She rolls 2 criticals for a total of 4 successes. Then Venom will roll his defense dice. His physical defense is 4 with 2 criticals and a total of 3 successes, meaning that Venom will take 1 damage and gain 1 power. Venom will then activate So Many Snacks, allowing him to attack with symbiote tendrils, rolling 5 dice. with 1 success and 1 critical for a grand total of 2 damage. Ghost Spider will then have a physical defense of 3 and successfully rolls 2 defense, negating all the damage. He also gains the Bleed special condition. Next up is Baron Zemo. Eyeballing his movement a little bit, he moves to the portal and attempts to activate it. With 2 successes, he is able to activate it and claim it for the spider foes. Next up is Iron Man. His first activation will be to pick up the civilian token. After that, his next activation will be homing rockets with the target of Venom. Checking range, he's within range. Checking range for the explosion. Green Goblin is within range for the explosion. 1 wild out of 5. Venom rolls his 4 defense and gets none, so he takes 1 damage as well as the Green Goblin. Next up is Green Goblin. He will target Ghost Spider with the pumpkin bombs, opting for physical damage. Rolling 4 dice. With 1 wild, Green Goblin activates Bag of Tricks, choosing to incinerate the Ghost Spider, reducing her defense from 3 to 2. She rolls 2 successes and takes no damage from the initial attack. Green Goblin opts for a second round of pumpkin bombs, this time making 1 success. Ghost Spider, with her reduced 2 defense, makes no successes and takes 1 damage. Next we have Venom from the Web Warriors facing off against Dr. Octopus. His first activation will be Symbiote Tendrils, rolling 5 dice. 1 critical for an extra roll. That failed for a grand total of 2 damage. Dr. Octopus rolls his 4 physical defense, succeeding twice, taking no damage. Venom's second activation, he uses Symbiote Tendrils again, rolling a critical again. He rolls an extra dice, this time for a total of 4 damage. Dr. Octopus rolls his 4 defense, this time only succeeding once, taking a total of 3 damage. Next up is the Winter Soldier. Again, we did the climb rule wrong, but I actually checked it, and a small move would have actually gotten him further than this medium move, so it didn't affect the game at all. The Winter Soldier will declare an assault rifle attack against Iron Man, rolling 4 physical dice. The Winter Soldier rolls. With 1 critical, he rolls an extra dice. Nothing, for a total of 3 damage. Iron Man then rolls his 4 physical defense. Iron Man scores 2 successes, re-rolling a dice because of his Web Warriors affiliation. He is unsuccessful. He successfully has blocked 2 damage, taking out of 3. The Invincible Iron Man trait cannot reduce damage to a less than 1, so he still takes 1 damage. Then we have Spider-Man. His first activation will be to move. His second activation will be to use a strike. He hits 1 time versus Baron Zemo's defense of 3. Baron Zemo is successful 2 times, dealing no damage. Next up is Venom. He will be using Symbiote Tendrils, targeting Iron Man. He is within range. 5 dice. 3 hits. Iron Man has a 4 defense. He rolls a critical. Still only succeeding twice. That leaves 1 damage to get through. Venom will then attack again with Symbiote Tendrils, this time scoring no hits. Next up is Miles Morales. He will first activate the Web Swing and move himself 3. Next up, he will activate for a Web Line Kick for his first action, rolling 6 dice, getting nothing. Tough break. Next, he will webline kick again, this time only getting 4 dice, with 2 successes. Dr. Octopus's 4 defense, 3 successes, meaning no damage. Next up is Venom for the Web Warriors. He'll be targeting Dr. Octopus with a symbiote tendril attack. 1 critical for a total of 2 damage. Dr. Octopus's physical resistance is 4, rolling no successes, taking 2 damage, becoming dazed, and dropping the civilian token that he picked up earlier. For the second activation, Venom will move, going over top of the civilian token, making it harder to get to. Next up is Baron Zemo. He starts out by using the ability Master Swordsman. For his first action, he will use Sword Strike for 5 physical damage. He gets a critical and gets to re-roll a dice because of Master Swordsman, for a total of 5 damage. Spider-Man will roll his 3 defense. Spider-Man will get to re-roll 2 dice because of Spider Sense, ending with 2 blocked for a total of 3 damage. For Zemo's next activation, he will try Sword Strike again, this time only getting 1, with 1 re-roll from Strategic Genius, transferring it to 2. Spider-Man will roll 3 defense, making all 3, dealing no damage. Next up is Miles. For his first activation, he will move, getting himself within 1 of the civilian underneath Venom's base, staying just within 3 of the Winter Soldier. He will then collect the token. Next up is the Winter Soldier. For his first activation, he will move. For his second activation, he will use Red Fury, targeting Iron Man, rolling 7 dice, 1 critical, getting a total of 5 successes. Iron Man will roll his defense with a total of 4 successes, meaning 1 damage gets through. Now for the assault rifle part of the Red Fury attack, 1 critical for a total of 4 damage versus Iron Man's 4 physical resistance. He gets none. The damage is reduced by 1 thanks to the invincible Iron Man, but he takes 3 damage. That is enough to daze him, and he drops the civilian token he was holding. Ghost Spider is up next, choosing to attack Venom with Freestyle Beatdown. Ghost Spider will roll 6 physical dice with 2 criticals, for a total of 5 successes. Venom will roll 4 physical defense with 1 critical, resulting in 2 successful defenses for 3 damage getting through total. For the second part of the beatdown, Venom will be thrown small, hitting the car. The car, being a size 2 object, will damage Venom for 3. He'll attempt a dodge roll using his 4 physical dice. He has 1 critical and is not able to turn it over for a total of 1 additional damage. Venom then responds with so many snacks to use We Are Venom. Rolling 7 dice, is able to get 6 successes. Ghost Spider is able to block 1, taking 5 damage. That is enough to daze the Ghost Spider. Venom will also regain 3 wounds. That's how many wounds left Ghost Spider had. Venom will then move and activate the portal. Successful. the portal changes hands over to the spider foes. Now it's the Green Goblin's turn, and for his first activation, he will move. Green Goblin, after having moved, used Knight of the Goblin into Miles Morales for 7 dice with 1 critical. Miles gets a roll of 3 to defend, failing all 3 of them, using Spider Sense and Great Responsibility to re-roll all 3. He's only able to succeed 1 time. This causes the Goblin's attack to deal a total of 5 damage to Miles, knocking him out and causing him to drop his civilian token. Next up is Spider-Man. In a desperate attempt to even some of the odds, he strikes out against Baron Zemo, using the strike attack for 5 dice, scoring 1 critical for a total of 3 damage. Next up, Baron Zemo will defend, rolling 3 dice of his own. Using Strategic Genius, Zemo re-rolls 1 of his misses, turning it into a success and negating all of Spider-Man's damage. Next up, Spider-Man will use Taser Webs in a desperate attempt to take Zemo down. Unfortunately, he only deals 2 damage. Zemo passes with 2 successes and takes no damage, ending Spider-Man and the Web Warrior's turn. At the beginning of round 3, the score is 8-5 with the advantage to the Spider foes. Next up is Iron Man. His first activation will be to pick up the civilian token, and his second activation will be to use Repulsor Blast. He has 3 successes. Venom rolls 2 defense, with 1 success, taking 2 damage. Dr. Octopus is next up, and his first activation, he is going to move, followed by picking up the civilian token. Next up is Ghost Spider, who will immediately try to take the portal, successfully does so. Next up, Ghost Spider will use Impact Wedding against Venom for a total of 3 successes. Venom will then roll his defense dice with 1 success. Sorry we missed that on camera. For a total of 2 damage. Next up, Venom will attack Iron Man with We Are Venom. After 7 dice, there are 4 successes. Iron Man will then roll his physical defense of 4, succeeding 2 times, reducing the damage to 2, thanks to Invincible Iron Man, reducing it further down to 1, taking 1 damage. For Venom's next activation, he'll target Symbiote Tendrils again at Iron Man, this time succeeding with 4 damage. Iron Man will make his save. With his Invincible Iron Man skill, he's only able to reduce the damage by 1, taking 3. Next up is Venom, using Symbiote Tendrils against the Green Goblin, with a total success of 4. The Green Goblin's physical defense of 4. He's successful 3 times, taking 1 damage. Now Venom will attack again, this time using We Are Venom. This time with 4 successes. The Green Goblin will use his 4 defense, getting no defenses, and taking 4 damage. Green Goblin will now activate. Using his first activation, he will move. Using his second activation, he will move again, taking himself and his civilian token out of play for the remainder of the game. Next up, Spider-Man will attack Baron Zemo using Taser Webs. scoring 3 damage. Baron Zemo will roll his 3 defense. Looks like we might have rolled an extra one there for that critical, with Baron Zemo taking 2 damage. In response, Baron Zemo will use Counter Strike, rolling 4 dice, then using Strategic Genius to reroll 1 for a total of 2 damage. This will daze Spider-Man, causing him to drop his civilian token. Start of the 4th round, it's clear that the Spider foes with a lead of 13-7 have won. Unfortunately, nothing that the Web Warriors can do will prevent the Spider foes from gaining 3 points this turn. Between the portals and the civilians and the placement on the boards, unfortunately, the game is now won by the Spider foes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed our battle today. Please consider subscribing and liking the video, as it does help a ton. Let us know if we did something wrong or if there's something you'd like to see next time. Thank you and have a great day.